Hey, what's up? Doug Cunnington here. I'm going to talk about passive income stuff today, and it's a Q&A session, so I'm going to answer whatever questions you have, and I will talk about Amazon affiliate sites, Amazon just in general if you want to, picking niches. I could talk about keyword research. I could talk about like passive income experience that I have, and so on. So welcome. I see we have a handful of people in. We have Adrian, we have Paul, we have Byron. What's up, everyone? Okay, I would like, if it's possible, for you to hit the thumbs up. It'd be super cool. I know we have a couple people, and as you're joining up, just hit the thumbs up. Usually it's below where you're viewing. If you're on your phone, I'm not sure where it's at, but I'm sure you could find it. So would really appreciate it. And I'm just going to answer whatever questions you have. And in the chat, let me know if it's your first time watching. Be really interested to hear that. If it is your first time, welcome. I appreciate you making the time to join us today. And let's see, we have Matthews on. It's midnight in Malaysia, so we have Polina. And yeah, by the way, Polina, you did a good job. You asked the question. You did a pound Q, and it's just slightly easier for me to see. Not always, but slightly. So yeah, good day today. I slept in a little bit, which is good. Just a few minutes, not super late, but the last couple days, I had to take my in-laws to the airport, or I didn't take them, my wife took them, but I had to wake up at like 4. And then yesterday I had an early interview with Zoe Paulson over at Zoe Ariel. She has a really cool YouTube channel. You should check it out. I'm going to publish her interview that I did like probably coming up next week. I'm not 100% sure of the date, but yesterday I had to wake up early. So it was nice to sleep in until like 6:30 today. So I was a little rested. Feels good. Of course, there's other, stuff that I was dealing with today, but that's another story for another time. And Shant is on here. Let's see. Okay, cool. So like the questions can start flowing. And I see Polina says, you wanted to know if it's allowed by Amazon to use the text Amazon short link and use it in Facebook post comments. For example, if someone wants to link to a product on Amazon. I think so, but what you should do is just send a request. I think you can even get them on chat, but the Amazon Associates program has, I mean, it's big enough. They have like support people to help out. So I'm pretty sure you could use that short code. People do use short codes on like YouTube videos. So it's very like common to see that. And like big YouTubers are doing that. It's very common. So I'm assuming like YouTube is considered, similar to like a Facebook post in that it's a sort of a living ecosystem. So I think that should be fine. So next, Matthew asks, what do I think about pulling pics of products from forums or Craigslist listings before they get pulled down to use images on Amazon affiliate sites? I don't know. I haven't thought of that, but I would say I would avoid it. That sounds like a copyright issue, even if it's very unlikely that a person is going to do anything. It's still a copyright issue. And from my perspective, it's not worth the risk. The, whatever value you think you're getting from having like different images, I don't think it's worth the risk. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't want, an asset of mine that's worth, like $250,000 to get like a copyright violation, and then I have to like hire a lawyer to defend me using an image that is not something that we're allowed to use. Byron says it's your first time watching. Welcome. Thanks a lot for joining in. You've watched a lot of videos, so that's cool. You say it seems like finding good niches, that's the toughest part. Is there a process? Yeah, there is. And I'll mention, I haven't talked about it in a couple days, but in I don't have my calendar right in front of me, but I believe on October 16th, there's going to be a 3-part email mini course that is free, right? I'm going to send it via email, and it sort of walks you through the steps that you need to be thinking about prior to launching a site. It's very like methodical to get you in the right mindset. And 3 parts, it's free. Make sure you're on the email list. And let's see. And then otherwise, Byron, I could tell you that in that 3-part series, there is a like specific, probably the easiest way to find like a profitable set of products and niches. And it's not, there's a lot of ways to do it, but it doesn't have to be difficult. And if you're just joining up, thanks a lot for hopping on. In the last couple of days, I've been punctual for these sessions. So we started right on time, but I see we're getting more and more people. And I believe that we have a few likes, but I would really appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. If, a good way to do it is if you ask a question and I answer it, then you give me a thumbs up. Does that sound like a fair deal? Really appreciate it. And keep the questions coming. I'm going to digress just for a moment and mention that next week, I'm going to publish several videos on passive income. So I think it's an area I've sort of neglected, and it's sort of one level up. And a few weeks ago, you might remember that I did a live stream where I talked about areas of passive income that I have actual real life experience with. So the reason why I thought that was important to do is because I think I Googled like passive income ideas, and I ended up on some website. There were 43 passive income ideas. And as I read through them, well, number one, it was clear that the person didn't do like many of them, if any. I think the only thing that person did was create a website that had a list of, of passive income ideas. And then they were, trying to build an email list and sell products on the back end. That is passive income if you set it up the right way. But the point is the person had like no experience. And they even noted in there, hey, this isn't really passive income, yet they included it on their list and they didn't have any experience in it. So I thought, well, I actually have tried a few areas. Some things didn't, resonate with me. It didn't work. I didn't have the motivation to stick with certain types of passive income, like rental properties, or, I found certain things worked really well for me, like Amazon affiliate sites. So anyway, next week, there's going to be several videos that kind of flow into each other. I give like some pretty specific examples of passive income. And anyway, so keep a lookout for it next week. I'm pretty excited for that series to come out. Fingers crossed that you all will enjoy it too. So, okay, I know a lot of questions came through, and I'm going to answer them right now. All right. Paul says, how long does building backlinks through guest posting take before you see results? And how would you determine the results solely based on keyword rankings? And would you? Okay. So how long does it take? Well, it depends on how fast you're doing it. So I'll make some assumptions just so it's slightly helpful. Let's say you get 10 guest posts in about 6 weeks, and let's say it's evenly spaced throughout. So you're getting, a guest post every, or you're getting like 1.5 guest posts every week or so, something like that. And then that means it depends, right? All good questions. The answer is it depends. But what I would tell you is I would look to see some movement like at 6 weeks, but I think most likely you're probably going to see an improvement over the next like maybe 4 months. Now, I haven't done enough, not experiments, but I haven't done enough case studies to see like the consistency, because most of the time I keep pushing, right? So I'll get those links and then I'll keep moving forward with it. So the thing is, it's going to take longer than you think, Paul. So however long you have it in your head, why don't you just double it and then imagine that it's going to be twice as hard as you think it's going to be. And then you'll have like realistic expectations. Worst case scenario, you finish early, you get results faster, and you're like, hey, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. What you don't want to do is expect it to take like 2.5 weeks and then it takes 4 and then you quit. And really, you were almost there. You just needed to do it a little harder. And your secondary question is how, like, and would you determine the results solely based on keyword rankings? Basically, yeah. That would be it. You should also look at traffic. I mean, if the rankings go up, traffic should go up too, but it depends on like where you started ranking and other factors like that. Q-Dog's on, what's up? Good to see you. Xland says, how valuable is a Huffington Post link? I don't know. I know they're, I'm like 90% sure those are like no follow at this point. So it may be a little valuable from like a branding standpoint. Maybe that helps you get other guest posts or something. If you can say, hey, I was featured on Huffington Post. However, I will tell you that if you want a Huffington Post link, you can go to Fiverr, find some providers, and you can get a Huffington Post link for like $100 or $200, something like that. So if you want one, you can get one. And that said, that probably means they're not that valuable. Matthew says, what are the top most common mistakes people make when applying to Amazon and how can we avoid them? I'll mention two. One is using images from Amazon that are, hosted on your site. You need to be using the Amazon API and you can't like download the images and upload them to your site. That's a violation. You won't be approved. The second is mentioning prices specifically. So don't do either of those things and you'll avoid those. There are others as well, but those are the two main ones. Byron says, can you discuss the pros and cons of buying/fixing a site versus starting from scratch for a newbie? So the obvious ones are cost, right? So, or the obvious pro and con is cost. So if you have the budget to buy a site that's already earning money, that could be a great way to, hop on. You're already making some money. If it stays like consistent, right? If the earnings stay consistent, then you should be able to recoup your investment, your initial investment within like 2 to 3 years, depending on how much you paid for it, which in the grand scheme of things, that is a very quick investment return. That's why website purchases are so risky because, the value can go down, but the returns can be really high. For example, I know someone that purchased a site from Empire Flippers in the last year, and their site was making like $1,000 a month, and then it's dropped to like 200 through like they've been trying to improve the site, but it just dropped. Don't know why, right? So that can happen. That sucks, right? So that's a big con. The pro is if you're already getting traffic, you probably already have some rankings, your SEO is decent. Let's say, for example, let's say I bought a site that's making like $1,000 a month, and then I put my whole content team on it, and they add say 300 articles to it in the course of 6 months or so. That could be a significant like increase in traffic and revenue, and that could be like a great turnaround. Because let's say that cost me, let's just say on the high end, let's say it cost me $10,000 to put in 300 new articles. Okay. And then the revenue goes up by, I don't know, let's say it triples. All right. I'm just making up numbers. Let's say it triples. So it's $3,000 a month. Of course, I could sell it for a much higher multiple, and, the math works out that that's a good investment. Now, another problem with buying a site that's already in place is basically you don't have the skills to do what I just said, right? You don't know the keyword research. And I'm talking for a newbie, or you don't know how to do the keyword research, you don't know the SEO side, you don't know how to get links. So you'll have to figure out how to do that. So I would say, right, everyone has something they're selling. I'm going to sell a course soon, so I'll just tell you that straight up. I will try and sell you a course soon. So you would probably need to take a course. It doesn't have to be mine. There's a lot of other people that have courses, like Niche Pursuits. Spencer Hawes has a course, Authority Hacker, that's Gail and Mark and Perrin. They have a course. And there's several others, right? So you probably need to like get baseline knowledge so you could do something, or hire someone to do some consulting or something like that. Now, starting from scratch, you have lower startup costs. You can learn the ropes, all the things that I mentioned, keyword research, getting traffic, working with the site, using the theme. Like you'll get a full like education in that area, which I think is pretty important. Okay, so I can go on and on that for a long time, but I'll just keep going. QDog says, how can you find a decent mastermind group that's not spammy? Okay, I'm going to make an assumption that you're talking a mastermind group as a Facebook group. That's not a mastermind group, in my opinion. That is a Facebook group where someone's trying to build a platform. They're trying to like push their content. I mean, I have one of those groups too, right? So I'm no better than anyone else. But a mastermind group should be like 2 or more people, probably like up to 6 or so. I like 3 to 4 people in a mastermind group, and you meet on a regular interval every 2 weeks, or 1 month is probably good. And you have an accountability group. You can go to each other for help. And, for people like myself who work at home, it's really good to have that social interaction and people know what you're talking about. If you are looking for like a Facebook group that's not spammy, I don't know, you'll probably have to form your own. As far as mastermind group, I think you also have to form your own. It's rare that someone's going to like seek you out, find you, and then ask you to join. All the mastermind groups that I've been a part of, I formed them myself. Little secret, good way to do it is find people better than you or ahead of you and bring them together. So I'm always able to get people that are a little better than me because I am pulling it together. So if I do the inviting, I'm sort of the hub. I do the organizing. It's a skill that I have. So that's how I get in and work with people who are better than me, which is usually the best way to do it. Okay. All right. Steven says, good to see you. Good to see you also, Steven. What are my thoughts on thin content, aggressive Amazon affiliate site that doesn't rely on Google, using Facebook, for example? You know what? I am not sure. I haven't done that. I would say you still have an issue with Amazon. Like if Amazon evaluated your site, they may say there's too much advertising like material. There's not enough like information on your site. So you may still have issues there. Could you get away with it for a while? Probably. If you start hitting high income numbers though, they may take a look at it and then they would say, hey, this site is no good. I haven't done it before. So that's just my take. All right. Amazon affiliate and SEO. Very catchy name. Nice. Your question is domain.me good, or sorry, is domain.me good for SEO affiliate niche? I don't know. I've never tried it. I usually stick to .com, but it is probably fine. Florian, what's up? Good to have you on. Haven't talked to you for a while. We have XCNet. Hey, how are you? So you haven't been on here for a while. Do I have a schedule of when I am live these days? Yes, sort of. So on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, which I think is GMT -7 at this point. So 10 a.m. Mountain Time, which is like now. That is like a topic. I do a live stream then, and I talk and I'll answer questions related to the topic. On Fridays, I do this live Q&A, and it's at 10 a.m. On Thursdays, I do a webinar, which is hosted outside of YouTube. although the videos will show up on YouTube sometime in the future. And you have to sign up for the email list for that. So usually you could find out about those, um, and you can check them out there. I may be doing more live streams that are generally unscheduled. So if I have the time and I'm inspired, I may just do a live stream on my phone and start talking, do stuff like that. But those are the schedules. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, there is a live component of some form with me at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. All right. Good question. I do need to make that more like obvious, but good to have you on, XE. Scott is in from SF. Good to have you on. Welcome. Okay. Matthew says, update on the KGR. You have 30 articles written, 11 posts are in the top 10. The highest is at the second spot. That's awesome. You got 12 posts in the top 30, 5 posts in the and 30 to 50th. Your site's only 7 weeks old. That is awesome, Matthew. And by the way, I mean, just I hear people push back on the KGR, right? They tell me they don't think it works, and frankly, I'm glad that a lot of people are just not trying. That means more keywords for the rest of us. But Matthew, that's great that you're actually taking action here. Lachey says you're on page 9 for your main keyword, but on page 2 for 5+ KGR keywords. They need more power to reach page 1. Should I focus on the long tail since they are close to page 1? Okay. I would focus on, I would go for some of the keywords that are on page 2. I think, if the KGR, I don't remember Lachey specifically, but if I remember right, you have like some good ones that I think if you just do some blog commenting, maybe like 5 blog comments a day for like 10 days on each of those, for each of those pages with like comment love, the comment love commenting technique that I know you're familiar with. If you do that, I think you should see some movement, specifically if it's like a relevant blog, relevant topic. John from the Lone Star State. What's up, John? I did see your email, by the way. You people that have emailed me, thank you for doing it, by the way. Most everyone. And a lot of times you'll notice I ignore email for a few days and then I'll answer all of them like all of a sudden. So John, you just fell into the pocket of where I'm ignoring emails, doing some other stuff that was more important than me going through email. But in your case, John, I do remember the question. I believe you're in a spot where the course 5-figure niche site would be a good idea. Not 100% sure, but you'll notice there's a basically very flexible guarantee. So 100% guaranteed that you get something out of it. You do have to do the work, but my hunch, John, is like because of where you're at with your site, if you tighten up some of the foundational material, you can make some tweaks. Of course, you'll have access to me so I can like audit your site and tell you exactly what to do. You'll get an action plan on what to do. So I think in that area, like you're at a point where like you're getting traffic, you're making money, and that is sort of the perfect combination to have someone like me come in and say, all right, here are the areas you need to ignore and here are the areas you need to focus on. And it's kind of a critical time right now with the retail season coming up. So okay, Adrian says, how many links would you say are too many in an article of 1,000 words? I'm assuming you mean affiliate links, and I'll say I would probably put like 4 or 5 affiliate links in something that long. So you could get away with more, but I prefer a strong call to action versus putting a bunch of affiliate links. I mean, let's say you go to a page, Adrian, and you have some content that you're reading, and they just have like all these different links to Amazon. Like you see the links, right? Like the links are there. Adding more links is not going to like get you to click. The thing that'll get you to click is like a strong call to action and interest in the product. So if you have like the right visitor on your page, like if you're using buyers keywords and you have a good call to action, like um, check pricing at Amazon, that's pretty good. Then people will click over. So yeah, I would say like 4 or 5 affiliate links. Matthew says, how much traffic do we need to find analytics valuable regarding bounce rate and time spent on site? I would say, just I'm sort of guessing here, probably like 100 visitors a day. You probably can get some value before that, but 100 visitors a day or so, plus or minus 25, is probably a good amount of data to get a pretty good idea about what's going on your site. So cool. We have 23 likes. Do appreciate it. And if you're just joining in, welcome. Glad you were able to make it today. And I made a deal earlier with everyone. If I answer a question from you, to give it a thumbs up and like the video. If you're watching later, by the way, and you have follow-up questions, you can just enter your question in the comments and I'll answer those as well. All right. Next, we got Leo. Leo, what's up? Good to have you on. Scott says, you're a filmmaker in the Bay Area, and would a blog dedicated to the local industry be too narrow of a platform? Probably. I think so. The products would, of course, be targeted to all filmmakers. Well, that's interesting. I think you can do all right with that through the authentic, or like it's authentic, right? Like because you actually know the industry, like it would be okay to do that. You of course would have to write in a general sense for the like product reviews. So, and Tao says, you found that your KGR articles got a boost from internal linking, not using the actual KGR keyword as the link text. Good call, Tao. Going back to Lachey, yeah, if you don't, I think Lachey, I think you do have the internal linking already from our coaching call a couple weeks ago. I can't remember though. So if you don't have internal linking, go ahead and make sure you have internal links. Each of those posts that are the ones that you're looking at on page 2, make sure they have like 2 to 5 links coming from other posts on your site. Thanks, Tao. That's a good point. Okay. Leo says, do I do much custom PHP development, or do I limit my changes to a pre-built theme and simply add content? Funny you should ask, Leo. Up until yesterday, I pretty much dealt with like straight up, like use the theme, work with what you got. But I've been having some real issues with Thrive lately. I did a little video a couple days ago, the live stream on Wednesday. I just whined and complained, which I shouldn't do that, but I tried to put a spin on it about regrouping. And I think you remember you are on there, Leo. But I did shoot 2 videos because I hired a person from Upwork. I hired a developer from Upwork. And then, or I posted, there's going to be 2 videos. They're coming out today, by the way. So I hired someone, or sorry, I posted a job listing, and then I looked at the proposals and hired someone. So it's a 2-parter. And, in this case, I'm hiring someone where I don't know exactly what I need. I just know I don't want to use Thrive ever again in my whole life. And I recommend that to others as well. And the thing is, I had to create a job posting where I didn't know exactly what I needed, and I needed advice from, whoever I'm going to hire. So in this case, I don't know how much like custom PHP development there will be, but I know from a formatting perspective and just a landing page perspective, I'm asking him to take the format, keep like the general flow. It doesn't have to be the same exact elements or anything, but I want to have, text, and I want to have images, and I want to have like some light formatting to break it up. And I want to be able to edit this in my WordPress editor. I don't want to have to use a page builder of any kind. I don't want to use any page builder. I just want to edit the HTML. So in this case, I think he's going to have to do some custom CSS to like make everything fit together, and then have the HTML, and it'll be like a super long page. I'm not 100% sure how many words it is, but it is a very long sales page. But in this case, I am doing a little custom development. And now if I have a guy that I trust, or gal, right? Whoever the developer is, I am now probably going to go to this guy for like stuff that I need. Now, generally, I do just try and keep it simple and not have like custom development stuff. This guy seems pretty good. He was like, I don't want to like have to make changes for you. I want to give you something that you could use. And a lot of other developers will basically make their code uneditable, so that anytime I want to change, I'd have to go back. And he's like, I'm not going to do that. I want you to make the changes, and so on. So anyway, in general, I mean, if you have a developer that you could work with, or you could do the PHP yourself, then, and you're interested in it, of course, then I would take a look at it. Okay. Next, John says, how much more value is an edu do follow compared to a .com? It depends on the sites. The edu can, like, I guess it's sort of perceived as a more like authoritative link, but it doesn't have to be. The thing is, a lot of edu links, or a lot of edu sites, just by default have links from like much like bigger sites, because that's just how it works. They just get links because they are, an institution. For a .com, they may have better links. It just depends on the .com. So inherently, an edu link is not necessarily more valuable, but it tends to be more valuable than just like your average .com domain. Paul says, can I briefly explain how you manage multiple outreach managers? How do I keep track of things, and how do you make sure each person doesn't duplicate any efforts? Okay. So Paul, I use a spreadsheet, a Google Sheet, and each outreach manager has their own tab, and it keeps track of what they're doing. It's basically a little CRM in a spreadsheet, without all the bloat and usability issues of an actual CRM like outreach platform that's slow and tough to use. And a spreadsheet's just easy because you don't have to teach the outreach manager how to use a spreadsheet. Any tool, you got to, teach them how to do it. As far as how do you keep track of things and make sure each person doesn't duplicate efforts, very carefully, obviously, you're going to have like a list of prospects for each one of them, and you just make sure there's no duplicates in there. So, for me, I created a full list of like, sites I wanted to network with and prospect. And at that point, basically, at that point, I made a master list and then divided it up between my outreach managers. You could do different things. Like if you're good with spreadsheets, actually, you don't have to be good with spreadsheets. It's not hard. You could set up a VLOOKUP to see if, if that prospect is already on the list. You could watch a couple of videos and figure out how to use a VLOOKUP, but there's like 3 or 4 things. Like if you know how to do it with spreadsheets, then you look like a wizard. In my old corporate job, where people should have known how to use spreadsheets, not everyone was very good. So, I set up a couple, VLOOKUPs and reports where I have no clue. These people were looking stuff up manually, right? So they were comparing 2 lists of like hundreds of items, which I mean, you're going to make a mistake. There's no way you could do that. And you have a freaking system in front of you that will like do it for you instantly. They just didn't know how to use VLOOKUP. So anyway, figure out how to use VLOOKUP and you can make sure you're not duplicating in your list there. Okay, John says, Doug's approach does not have a flaw. Oh, that's very nice of you to say. I feel like there probably are flaws, though. We just haven't found them yet, or they're not that bad of a flaw. But thanks. Appreciate it, John. His KGR method is proven. It's worked for you. Thank you. That's nice of you to say. Paul says, you want to join a mastermind group too. Not the Facebook kind, but the ones where you do a Google Hangout or a Skype call. Anyone interested? So yeah, feel free, folks, to have a little, connect here if you want to. Key thing with a mastermind group is you probably need to make sure you're relatively at the same level. I did mention I got people that were like ahead of me, but they weren't like remarkably ahead of me. I had other things that I brought to the table as well. But what you don't want is to have a group where, one person's way ahead, right? If someone's making like 50K a month from Amazon FBA, and everyone else is only making like $200 a month on Amazon affiliate, it's not a good match, right? Not a good match there. Vice versa. If everyone's making 50K and there's one person making like 10K, there's different problems that you're dealing with, and it may not be the right fit. And it's not always the case, but it is key to have the right people in the group. And that's part of the value that I brought, because whenever I formed a group, I basically interviewed the person. I chatted with them before I invited them to the group. So that is key, because if you have a personality that doesn't fit with the others, then you're going to have a problem. So Paul, I think, if people want to try and form a group, that's awesome. QDog says, with link building, how can you build links to money pages? And also, if you build links to informational content, is link juice transferred to money content when interlinked properly? For the second question, the answer is yes. And for the first question, how do you build links to money pages? If you just do it, which is a dumb answer, sorry, but you just do it. But the risk is your link is going to get removed. The way you don't get your link removed to your affiliate content in your guest post, and that is through building the relationship with the person. So if you spend the time to become a friend, an online friend with whoever that you're guest posting with, then they're probably not going to remove your link. They're going to understand what you're doing, and they're going to respect you for doing it. So, all right. Florian says, you're happy you made it. I'm happy you did too. Thanks, man. XCnet says, oh, you're just thanking me. Cream TV says, do I make PBNs? Nope, I sure don't. Tran says, you're going to launch a new niche site for your first time. Awesome. Congratulations. You're going to learn a lot. It'll be very exciting for you. And Tran also says, oh, I think the chat jumped down. All right. Sorry, folks. Oh, here's a quick aside. If you've watched several of these, you've heard me complain about the chat window being so small. I'm an idiot. You can pop out the chat window. So now I have a large chat window here that I could actually see more than 3 lines at a time. So I'm an idiot. I've been doing it for 3 months without looking at the fact that I could do that. So I just didn't know it was there. Tran says, I can do SEO and know about audit site. Do I have any idea with designing the site? Maybe if you could clarify the question, I could answer it better. But I think if you use your average premium, nice looking theme, maybe not Thrive, but if you like Thrive, you could use it. Just not my deal after this week. But if you use a clean looking theme, that's usually the way to go. It doesn't have to be complicated. Layla says, I published two KGR articles, keyword golden ratio, by the way. I know a lot of people may be joining up, maybe new, keyword golden ratio. articles and you got one article on the second page of Google, but the second one isn't ranking at all, you fetched as Google and it doesn't seem to rank. Why? How long has it been published? Maybe you just need to be patient and let me know in, 3, 4, maybe 6 or 8 weeks. Let me know after that. There could be a variety of reasons. The competition could be too hard. Your on-page SEO could be off, stuff like that. So, and by the way, I see there's still a ton of people on here. It's awesome. If you're just joining, thanks. Really appreciate it. Doug Cunnington here, just doing Q&A, talking about passive income. Our conversation has sort of distilled down to a lot of Amazon affiliate stuff. And I will mention that next week there's a lot of passive income content coming out, and it's like broader. So if you're new, if you're just watching for the first time, please consider subscribing. Would really appreciate it. And Lachey says, at what point do I start publishing more than 10 KGR articles at once? You hear a lot that you published 200 articles over 4 months or something similar. Well, there's a couple factors. So I had a site that was around for a little while. So I had revenue coming in. So I had budget to pay for it. So usually the limiting factor on publishing KGR articles is budget. If you have the budget, then go for it. And if you have confidence in the process, if you have faith that this is going to work, then go for it. So I had both. I had budget and I had faith that it was going to work. So I went big and I published a lot of stuff. So that is kind of the idea for most people. And you'll notice 200 articles over 4 months. Like the first month, it was 5 months. The first month was like 8 articles or something. And then I did 25 the next month. And then I did like 70 the next month. And then however the math works out. So you slowly ramp up. And the point is, like, you could publish a few more. I would say you get some positive benefits, like because of that, publishing more and then doing continual interlinking. And I think, so Paul, I think I already answered your question. Tihana, what's up? Good to have you on. Sahid, good to have you on here. You're really good with PBNs, but now you want to do more outreach. Great. Any course or resource that you suggest? For just outreach? Not off the top of my head. Nope. I think if you just look at some YouTube videos, like my YouTube videos on outreach, like, you'll get a pretty good idea on that. Adrian has to go. Awesome. Good to have you on. Layla, while your site's new and you're not an Amazon affiliate, where can you get product pictures for review articles? Email the manufacturers and see if they'll give you permission to use them. And otherwise, maybe you buy the products or something, but I'm not real sure what to do. If you're not an Amazon affiliate, you should check with whoever you're an affiliate for and then see if they'll give you, permission to use their images. Monikwa says, would I recommend to let the browser open in a new tab? Yeah, I usually do that. Matthew says, what's special about my course? You're 80% ready to buy as soon as it's open without knowing anything about it. Okay. What I'll do, I'm going to answer this really briefly because there's a lot of information about the course on the course page, and it's very long. So I'm not going to try to mention everything. Basically, it takes you from the beginning of like picking a niche and understanding how to do keyword research, and then takes you all the way to, publishing content, getting backlinks, the right way to approach it. And then from there, some of the more recent, like the very new pieces of content, I guess units of content, are around list building, other affiliate programs aside from Amazon, and then selling your site for over 6 figures. Those are new. And the main thing, Matthew, is access to me. So you get really good support, and there are, weekly Q&A sessions where we could talk in a group setting where it's, this is a general group of people. There are general questions. There are beginner questions in here. In those like Q&A sessions for the class, those are advanced questions where everyone has like the same baseline knowledge, and like you're sitting with other people that made the same investment, have the same commitment as you. That's a really big deal. There's a ton of other stuff, but at the core, like that's why it's special. Okay. Scott says, you're learning JavaScript and you've dabbled in PHP. How can I use these skills to my advantage? Well, you could freelance, and if you wanted to help people out, but I guess you know about how to write code, so you could write code if you want to. I don't know, much more to tell you other than that, but I mean, you could freelance if you wanted to do that. Next trans says, it's weird. The chat just like skips when new stuff happens at the bottom. So sorry, Scott, I couldn't give you more info on like what to do with your coding skills, but I mean, it's good to have like coding skills. What do you do when your target affiliate product only got first page position 2 months later when they're out of date? Not 100% sure what you're asking, but I'm going to say update your content so it's not out of date anymore. I don't know if that's what you're looking for. Paul says, what kind of on-page testing do I recommend to improve conversion rates on Amazon? How long should each testing period run for? I don't recommend you waste your time on conversion rate optimization. But if you really want to, as far as the testing period, I would recommend you just use like I think it's Google Optimize, which is now the free tool that's out there, part of Google Analytics. And you could run A/B test, and they tell you the degree of certainty when you run an A/B test. So they tell you when you should be done with it, and then you could move on. It depends on the amount of traffic, right? So that's how it's determined. But don't waste your time with CRO. Murtoza, what's up? You watch most of my videos. Thank you. You say they're awesome. Thanks again. I learned quite a bit. And okay, so the question is, when you search for a keyword with all in title, you found 4 results, but those results are not even in the top 50 of Google when you search for them without all in title. So how can these results be treated as my competitor? So take a look take a look and see if the results are mostly e-commerce sites or like super authoritative sites. If they are, that means that you may end up, or that particular phrase, right, that keyword phrase that you're searching for may be like too competitive, or Google likes the like e-commerce sites instead. A good example of that would be like if you had a KGR phrase, a keyword golden ratio phrase, where most of the results are like WebMD and like Wikipedia and like medical related sites, Mayo Clinic, stuff like that. If you see that, then you're probably not going to be able to rank with a niche site, because Google knows that people want more authoritative sites than like medicalanswers.info or some kind of garbage like that. So in that case, you just need to check to see. So that is, by the way, that is one of the flaws of the keyword golden ratio. But see, the thing is, like, it could just be a bad term, right? Not all of them are home runs. So your question is, how can you treat those as your competitor? I don't know. Maybe they're not really your competitor. And Scott, you watched almost all the videos too. Cool. Mono says, how many keywords do I recommend per article? It depends. Would I recommend writing longer articles to cover more keywords? It depends. So if they're keyword golden ratio type terms, I would say 1 keyword per article. The thing is, though, it's going to rank for other stuff too. So I don't really look at content like that. All right. And we see a couple love connections happening in the chat, maybe a mastermind group budding. So that's cool. Why do we need to limit the local monthly searches? Isn't it better if we have less competitors and more local monthly searches? Suppose I get 10 results for all in title and the local monthly searches is 480. Shouldn't I take the keyword? Yeah, you should go for it. There's a video, Muir Toza, about the keyword golden ratio and why I mentioned 250. So turns out when you create a formula that like people are going to use, I'm trying to make it foolproof for people. And I could list like 15 exceptions and caveats to the rule, but then it's confusing to use. Hell, I had people email me and they told me, actually they were super rude. They unsubscribed to the email list and they said, Doug, why are you spreading these terrible like formulas? You make it so complicated and it's not that complicated. I'm unsubscribing and you should stop telling lies. I was so happy that person unsubscribed, by the way, but what a jerk, right? So anyway, the point is I try and make the formula simple so that people get started to use it. But Murtoza, I could tell that you're smart and you see that the math works out for that. So go for it. That should actually work okay for you, unless it's one of the keywords you mentioned before. Okay. Serge says, what's the best keyword tool, keyword research tool? I can't read, folks. I'm sorry. I'm reading everything out of order. I like to use Keyword Keg, but use whatever you, whatever you like. I use Keyword Keg because it seems to be like the cheapest solution for what I could recommend to people. And a lot of people are on a limited budget. I'm not an affiliate. Okay. So if you have other people, all right, I'll get on a soapbox for a second. If other people are telling you you should use a specific keyword research tool and they're an affiliate and they're getting paid by the company, you should question their motives and the information you're getting. Same thing goes for themes, right? So unfortunately, I'm having a bad week with Thrive. And if you check out some prominent bloggers in the Amazon affiliate area, you'll see, hey, they recommend like 5 different premium themes, something like that, some number of premium themes. And like the first 3 are Thrive themes. Really? Is that really like the top 3? And there's affiliate links for all of them. Come on. I mean, that is that's a little crazy. So I mean, they disclose that they're an affiliate and stuff like that. But you got to question where you're getting your information if people are making money off the back end of it, right? It's all about incentives. And you can get deep insight. Every now and then people ask. Freakonomics is a very good book from like 2007. There's a podcast around it. There's a whole brand around it. There were several books I've read. I think I read all of them. And the thing is, like us affiliates, right? I'm an affiliate for a few things, but us affiliates, we have an incentive to recommend products, even though they may not be the best one. It sucks, right? But that's like how this world works. So the point is, I like Keyword Keg. I'm not an affiliate. I make no money from it. It's the most economical choice that I've seen lately, and it's a small startup. It seems to be a good tool. Okay, off the soapbox. Okay. Akshay says, any tips on hiring a good SEO freelancer? Is Upwork the best? Don't know. I think you need to know SEO yourself to be able to hire someone well without, being taken advantage of. Like the unfortunate thing is if you try and hire an SEO freelancer, it's going to be very expensive if they know what they're doing. If they don't know what they're doing, they're going to recommend like a bunch of like sort of bad tactics for you. And the trouble with hiring an SEO freelancer, which I've never done, by the way, so keep that in mind. I haven't done this since I first got started online. in 2013, I hired some freelance SEO folks. And that was part of the reason why my sites were penalized, by the way, back in the day, for people that like have heard my story before. So you don't know where SEO freelancers got their education. It could be that they're really good at it and they learned themselves, or it could be that they took some terrible course that is teaching out of date top tactics and stuff. So I would make sure that you know what's going on. And SEO is tough. SEO is tough, man. Like they will lie straight to your face. Not because they're SEOs, but in this area where the knowledge gaps are big, they'll take advantage of you. So you got to watch out, make sure you know what you're doing. Okay. So getting close to, all right, I'm still scrolling down here. Okay, it says screw thrive. Just curious, did I coin the term keyword golden ratio? Yeah, I sure did. I got the ideas from mastermind groups that I have been in. So I'm going to give a shout out to a few of the people. They don't like blog super actively, but a couple of them have blogs out there. So my good friend Quentin Hamp, so he's at Cubicle Houdini. I don't think he blogs too much there at this point. I got Rob Atkinson, so he doesn't blog anywhere, but you could get info about him on my site, Niche Site Project. And then we got Lewis Ogden. He used to blog at Cloud Income, but he's kind of stepped away from just actively blogging right now. And then Shauna Newman, she's at Skip Blast. And through conversations, there were certain pieces that each of them told me about keyword research and how they were doing things. And then, of course, because I'm learning more about marketing, I put a name on it that sounded cool. So, and I give credit to one of my friends, Jim, who, when I was telling him how to look for these low competition keywords, I think he called it like Doug's golden ratio or something. And then we changed it up, keyword golden ratio. So yeah, I made up the term, and it's catching on a little bit after about a year and a half of telling people about it. It's slightly catching on. So, all right. Byron says, are folks running multiple sites, presuming they would? How many have I done at once? I recommend fewer than, just work on one at a time. How many have I done at once? I don't know, 8, and it ended badly. So don't do that. Okay, and Leo says he's giving me a shout out here, so I appreciate it. So I'll read it out. I'll read all compliments out. The great thing about Doug's course is that it works. It's a lot of material, and he goes step by step. When you ended the course, you had a site that was operational and earning from Amazon. And that kicks ass. It does work, and it's not easy, right? Just I say this in the material. I say it over and over again. A lot of people have watched the videos. It's not easy. It takes quite a long time. It's not hard though, right? It's do 30 to 60 minutes of work each day, but you have to do it in the right order, and you have to do it for I don't know, 90, 100 days in a row, and then you can sort of ease up. But I think people that have studied a little productivity, they've studied accomplishing big goals. Normally it's like that. It's a series of short steps that are not that hard, but you have to show up every day, even when you don't want to. If you miss a day because something happened, you're sick, your child's sick, your spouse, your partner is sick, whatever, and you can't do it, or you're too tired, don't spiral out of control. You have to stop, take a day off, take 2 days off, start again, and keep going. Because if you quit, then you lose. But if you finish it, if you do everything, it works. So, all right. Lachey says, do I find that Josh Sjogren's method of finding forums that are ranking for keyword works well, like the KGR? Yeah, I haven't done it at scale, but that works well. If people aren't familiar, you can basically go to forums, see what they're ranking for. I would go to a site like SEMrush, pull the full reports. It's an expensive tool, but you could pull the reports and then you'll have like a ton of keyword data. I would recommend slicing and dicing it using the same kind of mindset of the keyword golden ratio. In fact, I would say find keyword golden ratios based on the keywords from forums. So cool. Matthew says, you did the authority hacker course and you feel like something's missing. My free content has been awesome already. So give you the course. That's great. I think that means I'm doing a good job with my material and just marketing in general. So, I will mention there's a lot of people that have taken the authority hacker course and they take my course afterwards, and I'm sure vice versa, right? People that buy courses buy multiple courses. That is something people like outside, especially like folks that haven't made the investment in a large like purchase like this. I mean, it's like a college course, people work through it very seriously. It's an investment. But the point is, I hear the authority hacker courses. Those guys are great guys, experts at what they do. I have nothing bad to say about them. And if you resonate with the authority hacker folks, I say, check out their course. I think they're doing a launch very soon. But great guys all around. The thing that I'll mention is, I believe, I haven't taken their course, by the way, but I believe that the authority hacker course has like tons of information, but it's not put together in the same kind of framework as my course. So my course is, I'm a project manager, which I don't even know if I mentioned it here, but I have like a lot of experience in setting up systems, organizing like complicated processes, and then like having other people execute it. And that is a skill that took a lot of years. I was a terrible project manager for the first 4 years or whatever. Then you get better at it and you're working on more complicated projects. But to be able to like lay out a plan and have other people execute it is like so critical, right? So if there's too much information, it's hard to follow. So one thing in my course is I strip away all the stuff. I put out a ton of material on YouTube. You could probably like figure things out from the material on YouTube. It's way easier when I take away the rest of the information that you don't need and you're just left with the core, like refined, distilled, like pure actions that you have to do, that you need to focus on. And that's why it works so well. Okay. Paul says, you're asking about conversion rates because you realize some of your pages convert much better to Amazon compared to others. They're all buyers keywords. So that's why you're trying to figure out why. Okay. I would say I'm imagining you already did some analysis on the pages and like looked at certain areas, but I would go and dissect those pages, figure out what's similar between the ones that are converting well, figure out what is not similar, what's dissimilar between the, non-converting pages or poor converting pages with the good ones, and then see if you can close the gap. So it could be like, even though they're buyers keywords, it could be that there's a particular keyword, which is not a buyer's keyword, that is pulling a lot of traffic to one of the pages that's not converting well. So you have to look at where the traffic's actually coming from, not just the fact that you're attempting to rank a buyer's keyword. I hope that made sense. Decard asks, what's my take on Word AI content? Is that the article spinner? If so, I think it's bad and you probably shouldn't use it. Okay, Scott asks, thank you for rephrasing the question. Have I found any use for coding skills and niche sites, or is it HTML, CSS? Early on, I did mess with some of the PHP stuff because I used a free theme. I used WordPress 2012. So anyone remember that? So I used WordPress 2012 and it didn't have like the template set up the way I wanted. They just had like two basic templates. So I wanted to add like footer stuff. So I was doing like really simple edits. Excuse me. I was doing like really simple edits and messing around with it. So it's not bad to have those skills. Obviously, if you need to take a look, then you can mess with it. But if you are, it depends on your focus. Here, I'll tell you this. If you are, if you're finding it interesting, you like learning it, go ahead, do it. If you are interested in setting up a site, in like focusing on marketing, learning about like the niche site process, as it were, then you should focus on that and ignore the coding. You don't need to know the coding. And if you're spending time like doing code stuff, then you're focusing on the wrong part. You should focus on the marketing part, but it depends on your goal. And I will say you can treat it as a bit of a hobby, right? There's nothing wrong with being able to take a look at the code and knowing like what's going on. Now, that said, I mean, I'm getting rid of Thrive because of the usability issues. Like the specific issue I had is like I couldn't change the font color on my buttons, right? And I'm sure they're going to tell me that it was my fault for doing something wrong, which it is, right? If I don't know how to use the tool well, then I can't blame them that I don't know how to use the tool. I can, however, stop using it, which is what I'm going to do because it drives me fucking crazy. So I'm just going to like stop using it, and I'll probably be much happier. The point that I'm making is I'm going to like make the changes in HTML, but I'm only going to change the content. I'm not going to do any kind of like any formatting or anything where I'm going to have to spend like an hour researching it. So just keep that in mind. If you're working on like developing your coding skills, that could be cool. If you are more driven towards like becoming a internet marketer, an affiliate marketer, then focus your time on that, not the coding part. Both are valid. Okay. Both are totally valid. Okay. Lachey says, you purchased the Authority Hacker course too. It's good, but you like my style of teaching, which is cool. Thank you. You can make the same amount of money with 112 articles that you can make with 10. So, okay. Sahid says, just for outreach, like how to, and this is the clarification question from earlier. How can you find a good opportunity and what kind of email works? How to convince? Yeah. I don't have a course to recommend to you, but if you go to my channel and look up like outreach and you look up guest posting, you look up SEO topics, there are probably 3 to 5 hours of free training that will answer those questions for you, and it's free. So just go watch those. Josh says, is there a more efficient system to the keyword golden ratio so you don't have to have 100 articles on your site? Like what about a massive authority article comprising of several keyword golden ratio terms? Okay, is there a more efficient system? I'm not sure. I haven't tried what you're describing specifically, but that sort of thing can happen for sure if you have a whole lot of terms that are like closely related and you just have a massive piece of content. I could tell you with the Project Go White Hat site, we got tons of like traffic through long tail keywords because that page had so much content and it was doing really well as far as like user interaction. We added keyword golden ratio terms also though. So you can give it a try and see how it works. And, you can start with, here's an easy one, right? You could start with 10 keyword golden ratio, like terms, and write 1,000 words on each one. Get yourself one 10,000 word post, like see what happens, and come up with 10 others and publish those all separately. And at that point, you're only in, you're doing like 2 sets of 10, 20 KGR terms and see what happens. Maybe you'll find one works really better. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Murtoza says, after getting a domain, posting some articles, then you could apply for the Amazon affiliate program. Yeah, sure. Do you need to do anything else? No, not that I could think of. Okay. And Paul is pinging with Scott. Cool, cool. Yeah. So people are in SF. Um, all right. Okay. Okay. And Matthew says you like my style and I have experience in the corporate world. Cool. And you know what? I find that, I don't view like Authority Hacker or like Tongue Tran at Cloud Living as like competition, right? People enjoy other learning styles. Like people that buy the course, like they've usually watched a bunch of videos and they probably like me a little bit. Otherwise, they wouldn't want to hear me through like however many hours of video and they wouldn't want to listen to me anymore. So the point is, I don't think like people are direct competitors because this is about like people like you specifically learning from me. And if you don't like me, you probably won't buy the course. So it like filters out the competitive nature, although I am quite certain like other people don't view it that way. But it sure takes the pressure off me because I used to get real nervous when I saw, Gail and Mark launching their course. I was like, oh no, that is really bad for me. But it's not. I mean, we are playing in different areas and it's totally fine. Josh says, will my new course have more on-screen action, step-by-step features outlining the strategy, a true over-the-shoulder style look, so to speak? Which new course are you talking about? Not sure, but in general, there is over the shoulder as needed. But in my course, I don't build a site for you. I don't share any of my sites, unfortunately. So that is something I'm non-negotiable on. All right. And Pastor Duke says you had problems with Thrive Architect too. You had to revert back, and it was a major pain and loss of a day's work. Oh man, I um I feel you, man. As I am being vocal about this, it is amazing the outcry of people who have also had issues. And Pastor Duke also says you couldn't believe the Authority Hacker recommendation or recommended it and then downplayed the outrage on the Thrive forums about being used as beta testers on live sites. Ouch. Yeah, there are so many like I didn't take like screenshots of like all the issues that are happening in there, but it's not pretty. Like I don't have like the right to like post stuff in there or sorry, like take screenshots and show folks or whatever, but the fact is like people are having like major issues in the support team. It takes a very long time to get back. So I'm working on getting a refund. I just had the standalone Thrive content builder that I purchased like from back in the day when some affiliate recommended it to me, and it was fine. I thought I needed to format my post in a beautiful way, but it turns out it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. As long as people can read the content, like that's good enough. You don't need like boxes and shading and stuff like that. Like no one gives a crap. So basically my Thrive Content Builder support was only for 1 year. You have to pay like $40 a year for continued support. So I didn't have support. So I paid $40 to get the support, and it took them like, I don't know, 36 hours to get back to me. And it was only after I emailed them and asked for a refund that they answered they said, hey, our developer is going to work on it and they'll let you know when there's an update. So in my opinion, like that's not the quality of service that I want. And like I said, I hired a person on Upwork to help me out that I'm happy to pay for help, by the way. So, okay, I'll get off. No one wants to hear me complain, but thanks for listening. All right. Okay, Paulina says Generate Press is an awesome fast theme and the pro version is easy to use, so check it out. Okay, I may check it out. And Scott says you could easily set up a WordPress site by today if you had your niche, and that is cool. But just hang on, don't get impatient, don't make any quick decisions. The mini course is coming out soon, and I bet you'll be able to get something out of that. Mertosa says if there are search results like Amazon or search with a higher DA or lower PA, then you should treat it as a lower competitive keyword or a higher competitive keyword. It depends. I can't answer that question without more information, unfortunately. And it looks like I'm getting towards the bottom of the questions here, which is cool. It's been a marathon here. Mertosa says, can I take an expired domain for the Amazon affiliate program? Yeah, you sure can. Is there any chance you could face problems for this? There's like a 99% chance that you're going to have problems with it. So most of the time when I answer that question, Mertosa, which is a very popular question, my answer is if you have to ask about whether it would be good or not, it probably means that you don't have the skills to, and nothing personal, by the way, but it just means you don't know how to like make sure your domain's clean. But if you can get a domain that's clean and good, then you could definitely use an expired domain. I would say it's better to not use an expired domain and instead use a domain that has never expired. So you could buy it from an auction, spend a few hundred, couple $1,000 on a domain. You have a good chance of ranking a little bit faster. And further, I mean, if you buy an existing blog, that's probably what I would do. Like buy a blog that's out there, maybe that's not monetized well, and then you could start publishing content there. Okay. But in general, like the spirit of your question is right. If you get a site, if you have a domain that's been out there that has backlinks to it, then that's a good thing. Scott says, any thoughts on merch by Amazon? No thoughts at all. Not really familiar with it. Byron says, is my next course filled already? Nope, it is not. There is the waiting list, but basically that just makes sure that ensures that you are on my email list. And it's not sold out or anything like that. It's open. It's going to open for enrollment later on this month. So since I keep, many people are excited about it, a mini course is going to come out. It's free via email. And that'll be October 16th through the 20th, I believe. And then on October 23rd, the course 5-Figure Niche Site is going to open for enrollment on October 23rd. Okay. It'll be open for 5 days. If you miss that enrollment period, there are no exceptions. You can't come in on Saturday, right? If you email me and you say, hey, really bad, like snowstorm happened, lost power, blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, there's no, there's no flexibility on that. So you have 5 days. I'm telling you now, it's the 23rd through the 27th, like 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time is when the doors close. So if you want in, that is the window. Again, the free course really, I mean, even if you don't think the course is a good match for you, if you don't think 5-Figure Niche Site is for you, then you can still do this mini course on the previous week. And it's really helpful. In fact, people that have purchased the course and gone through it, they still do the mini course and send me emails, and tell me about what they're working on. So it really puts you in the right mindset to start a site or to continue adding to your site. Okay. So Byron, yeah. Oh, it's Brian. Brian. Oh, I've been pronouncing it wrong the whole time. Sorry, man. But yeah, you can get in there. Other Doug from Blue Fuse. Yeah, go watch from the start. Yeah, I'm still answering questions right now, Doug. And Layla says, you're sure you don't share my niches because I'm an affiliate for some kinky products? Just joking. Nice. All right. Sahad says, do I have a course on Amazon affiliate? Yes, it's called 5-Figure Niche Site. You have a few sites set up. You get traffic here and there. You're not sure how to make them legit businesses and make a living. Yeah, the course is good for that. All right. Tim asks, You just joined. What's up? Good to have you on. How many words or articles do I shoot for on my sites before focusing on link building? 10, 50% like product reviews, affiliate oriented, and 50% informational how to type articles. Um, and moving on to the next project. So, and then after you get the 10, then you move on to the link building. And let's see, what's the URL for the course? It is fivefigurenichesite.com. I'll put it in here. Fivefigurenichesite.com. Boom. So that is it. Okay. Matthew says, any good resources for writing more engaging content, especially when you don't own the products? Really good question. So go, no, I don't have specific resources, but go check out like, say, 3 articles from the Wirecutter, and you'll see how they hook people in. They give people, different calls to action, and they don't follow the exact same format, but it's a very good format. Obviously, the Wirecutter like purchases the products, but you can still use the same copywriting techniques to do that. And that's what I would recommend. You could sort of put together like the sort of techniques that they're doing. Otherwise, you could kind of take a look at some copywriting, like sort of tutorials and stuff, and see if you get anything out of those. Galagus says, do I suggest link building, using link building outsourced services such as the Hoth or something similar? Generally, no, but it depends on what your specific needs are in the course. I don't recommend that. But if you are trying to do something else, right? If you're trying to do, like link build to a gray hat site, you want some web 2.0s, then you can use the Hoth. They're great for that sort of thing. They do have like a guest posting service. I haven't used it personally. I've heard like mixed results on it. Some people said the links were great, and other people said the links weren't that good. But I haven't used them, so you could test them yourself. Blue Fuse says, do I use the KGR for niche selection research? Yeah, sort of. Or save it mainly for articles, posts, and pages. Yeah, so that should be, um, in the criteria for picking your niche. And I go over that in 5-figure niche site. Cool. And I'm at the bottom of the question. So any other questions? I mentioned it before, but if I answered your question, I sure would appreciate it if you gave a thumbs up. It looks like we got 40, which is great. That could be a record, appreciate that. So as a reminder, I am doing these live streams on Wednesday and Friday at this time, like 10 a.m. Mountain Time. I do a webinar on Thursdays, so you should, find. Actually, I could send a link for the one next Thursday. I was smart enough to plan ahead just slightly. Now I got to remember what the topic was last week, or what the topic is going to be. I think it may be content. All right, sorry folks, I'm gonna have to take a look here. But I set up the new landing pages over here with, I will say the reason why I use the Thrive Architect is because they have good looking landing pages, but they are simple, and there's no reason that I need to use like a bloated piece of software like Thrive on it. And it's, just, it's not necessary. So I'm pulling the link for the webinar next week. I just have to find the thing. Thanks everyone for being patient. Let's see. So next week is going to be Sorry, folks. I'm having a hard time finding this baby. All right. I see some more questions came in. All right. So he said, finally, someone's saying something real about Thrive. Most affiliate marketers out there are like, if you want Amazon affiliate, get Thrive first. Yep. That is so true. Steve says, do I work on my sites in the same room? The bed might be detrimental to productivity. Yeah, I do, but I drink so much coffee that it keeps me up. And it turned into a guest room. I kind of like to have it not here, but Scott says, do I think narrow micro niches are giving way to broader branded sites? Yeah. Yeah, I think narrow sites are not the right way to look at it. You should always brand in a way that you can expand, even if you don't want to. Paul, thanks for joining up today. See you later. Ma Bub, what's up? Good to have you on. When should we start link building for a new niche site? As soon as possible. You probably need to make sure you have some like 10 pieces of content, but after that, you should be good to go. And Murtoza says, for your earlier question about the competitive keyword, what else info do I need? Please specify what information do you need to answer that question. Hey, Murtoza, if you want to sign up for a paid consultation, I can dive deeper, but the question that you asked is an open-ended one, so it's hard for me to answer. And I'm not gonna answer that. So if you want to pay me for a consultation, we could do it. We got Gallagher says, have I used the Visual Composer plugin to do landing pages? No, not recently. Or sorry, yes, I have in like some sites. I have used the Visual Composer. It seemed fine, but I'm uninterested in doing any kind of page builder. My take is anything with that many options is not going to be what I want. So yeah. And I'm still looking for the I found the link right here. So let me get the link for everyone here. I'm going to make sure it works. And this is for the webinar next week. It is about content. And make sure Thursday, October 12th. Nice. That is in a week. Okay. Boom. There. So if you want to hang out next Thursday on creating content the smart way, you'll learn how to publish content for niche and authority sites using the RPM and FAQ technique, FAQ technique. Someone asks, the Fur Man UK, do I actively collect emails for a newsletter on my niche sites? Is it worth it? I do, but I have a specific reason why. Is it worth it for most people? No, it's not. All right. I think that's all the questions. Anything else, folks? Any other questions? Tim says, have I found that writing posts in WordPress mobile is a pain? Yeah, kind of. It never seems to behave quite right. You like to voice type the bulk of your article while on the go, but you haven't found a good method. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a cool idea to like dictate out. I would maybe recommend, I haven't tried this, but I would figure out like the best software that like dictates for you. And if you can just record that into a note and then move it, like copy and paste it over, or figure out a way to just get the raw text into the WordPress editor and then format it from there, that'll probably be easier. But I think some people do really well at the dictation, but you have to have like, the, I guess, the patience to work with it and get good at it. Okay. Sahid says, If there is any question about that course, should I ask you on your YouTube Q&A sessions? Oh, if you have questions on the course, you can most likely you should yeah, you could ask on the YouTube Q&A sessions if you want. But if you send me an email with more information at Doug at Niche Site Project, then that's probably the right way to do it. How much do I charge? It is currently right now it's $247 an hour. But I don't take everyone. I only take clients that I, think that I could help, right? So, if you're at a point where you really need more foundational information, then I'll probably just point you to my YouTube channel. And, you know, I don't do it for the money specifically, but it is expensive. Um, and Galagus says, have I converted my affiliate site to an AMP supported? And I think, is that like accelerated mobile something? If so, has it been worth it? I haven't done that. So I'm not sure. All right. Any other questions? It is 11:30 here and probably about time for me to go to the gym here shortly. And let me check. I think one of those videos could have gone live that I was talking about here. If so, I'll paste it in here. Yeah, Scott is mentioning try notes on the iPhone. There are special voice commands for next line and other operations. Yeah, that works pretty well. I think that works better than some of the other options I've seen. And Tim says sometimes you dictate into Google Docs and then copy and paste. Yeah, the Google Docs like voice stuff like works really well. I think it works really well. And I think what I can do here, and I think this baby just went live over here. So when you get a chance, you can, I think, watch this video where I'm hiring someone on Upwork. And then once I get around, I'm going to post the other video, part 2, where I actually hired someone. My fingers are crossed that it's going to work because, like I said, I really don't want to use Thrive anymore. Da, 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 da. All right. Thanks everyone for joining up today. We had a nice long session. And I think that's good. Answered a lot of questions today. So you can check out the video I just posted. If you want to check out the free like webinar next week, next Thursday, I'm going to talk about content. I'm going to talk about the RPM method, which is awesome. A lot of people, it's simple, right? It's simple. RPM, it works. It'll take you like a couple of hours to develop like, the outline. But then after that, you're going to be able to hire someone to write the content. And, a great example that I have on Project Go White Hat that I worked on with Rob Atkinson, we added like, a post had like 2,500 words. We added about 7,000 or 8,000 words for $200, and the revenue went up by like, how much was it? 40%. So it went up by $4,000. It was crazy. It was already making 10K before, but doing that like brought in a lot of long tail keywords. It improved the content. We created a unique resource, and it was awesome. Okay. Galagus says how to sign up for the mini course. You were saying you have 5 days. Okay. Yeah. So as long as you're on the email list, you'll be good to go. You will get the emails just automatically. It is free. It'll come out October 16th through the 20th, if I have my days right. I hope I do, since I said it a few times. And the 5 days, that is when 5 Figure Niche Site is like open for enrollment. So that's the 23rd of October through the 27th. And there's no exceptions. Like once it ends, once the enrollment period ends, um, I don't let anyone in. And I'll just mention the reason why is anytime, 100% of the time, okay, 100% of the time, anytime I let someone in with some sort of exception case, they always ask for a refund. And a few of them actually did, like they filed chargebacks with their credit card company, which is like a negative mark with my payment processor, which is PayPal. They don't like to get that. It indicates that I'm like doing something weird. And I just don't deal with exceptions. And I talked about this a couple weeks ago, I think, but anytime someone's trying to do something out of the ordinary, I ended up getting screwed. So I don't do it anymore. And of course, I'm telling you multiple weeks ahead of time. So everyone has plenty of time to, figure it out. You'll be able to figure it out. And you know what? If you don't get it this time, if you miss the enrollment period for some reason, that is okay. There will be other chances in your life to, buy a course. So it won't be the worst thing ever. And Doug says, when will I reveal the pricing structure of the course options? As soon as I figure it out, which will probably be the week of. So things are shifting a little bit, and I'm adjusting the pricing a bit. Cool. So I think everything's set here. The questions seem to have died down. We'll catch you next week. Everybody have a good weekend. Keep a lookout for the passive income videos. I'm excited about those. If you are here this long, the 30 people that are here, really appreciate it if you liked and commented on those passive income videos, so then maybe get a little traction. So I think that would be really awesome. So everybody have a good weekend. We'll see you later. Thanks.